All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is a pleasure to be once again here at the Daily Huddle this morning. Today is Wednesday, May 13th, and we are excited to be together. My name is Giovanni Gonzalez. All right, good morning, good morning, Oops. Good My name is Giovanni Gonzalez, and I am the co-host of the Daily Huddle. And I get to be part of this awesome conversation every morning with the number one executive coach expert, my business partner and friend, Mr. Sorel Katan. Good morning, Sorel. How are you?
Good morning, Giovanni. I am awesome today. And I wake up every day looking forward to the daily huddle. I go to sleep every night thinking about the daily huddle, but it's not the daily huddle that I'm thinking about or concerned for. It is you. It is you, Janine. It's you, Sheila. Uh, I get to do and be in the world someone who makes a difference and someone who wants to make a difference and get the opportunity to do that. And I get to do that because you're here. So I want to acknowledge your presence. I want to acknowledge your participation. And I want to acknowledge that which is in your heart that has you be here today. And for those of you listening on Facebook, YouTube, I acknowledge you for the difference you want to make for yourself, for your business, for your families, and for your communities. And I want you to know that the Daily Huddle, its expert guests, the people here in the studio audience on Zoom are committed to you as well. So we are in this together. And today I have the privilege and the honor of having a good friend of mine, Janine Martin, be with us as our expert guest. And her question is, what is your future self thanking you for being today? And Janine's well qualified to address this question because, in my view, the way she lives is that she wakes up and lives in her moment to moment answer of that question for herself. And in preparing for this huddle and preparing the flyer to publish, I had difficulty finding a picture of Janine by herself. And well, you know what that told me? It's like, oh my God, Janine just loves people. Janine is just that human being who stands for someone else other than her to be great. And every single picture I saw, there was this big, bright 6-year-old smile. You know, like when a child is smiling, they go, say cheese, and they go, right? there you go. She did it, right? And so she's full of love, full of compassion, full of the rigor and the strength to take someone else and say, you shall be great in under my watch. So I'm saying this because Janine's a friend. I love you. That's how I see you. And I also want to tout some of your accomplishments so people know that someone like you with that smile who just is for everybody else can and does. Over 20 years of being in business with her husband, Janine has helped over 1,000 families, and she's cultivated over 200 agents. And together, they've put over $47 million under management. Janine has a huge goal. As a senior vice president and franchise owner with Primerica, she is a powerhouse. And she is that in 10 years, she will have 100 offices across the United States that are run and operated and owned by men and women that are empowering others to live free from the bondage of debt and the constraints of an employer's designated income. That's who you are. And that's who we have on the show today, people. Janine, good morning and welcome.
Thank you, Sorrel. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to go back and listen to this over and over in the morning. So that was worth $1 million. It is my honor and my pleasure. I've gosh dog, we've known each other for 9 years, and we've kind of seen so many things come and go, and the consistency of being genuine and being authentic and being yourself can never be replaced. And you can never put a dollar amount on that, because it's invaluable. And who each one of us are, we're so similar, yet we're so individually designed different, that there's overlap and then there's separation, but that overlap connects all of us. And so the question I have that I'm constantly thinking of every single day, and I've grown into this and I'm continuing to grow into this, is who is your future self thanking you for being today? And so many times we've heard the sayings, how horrific it would be to spend 30, 40 years of your life climbing a ladder to whatever that is. And that's not just a corporate ladder, that's maybe a spiritual ladder, or maybe that's an entrepreneurship ladder, only to find out that your ladder is against the wrong building. And, so many times I've seen in my life, people at their end of life, as I am approaching 50, that they have so many regrets. And one of my favorite things to do at least once a week is to watch a centurion video of people that are 100 or older that look back and reflect. And there's such a distinct difference of those who say, I'm so glad that, and people that say, I'm so sad that. And so I'm always thinking in the future sense, looking back at who I am today, is am I being authentic? Am I in integrity with who I was designed to be? So be willing. One of the things I want to really hit home with is be willing to let go of who you think you should be in order to be who you are. And so many times we try so hard to fit in when we were born to stand out. And I've gone through a wide range of, in 21 years in business, finding a mentor. And so you find a mentor and you say, I have to be just like them. If I'm just like them, I'll be successful. And whether that was in my spiritual walk, when I was in seminary school doing ministry work, whether that is in business, whether that is in, you find a marriage that you look at their marriage and it's so perfect and you want your marriage to be like that. And what I found was the more I tried to be like them, the less joy I had, because it really was a search inside of who I was designed to be, and then allowing life to bring into alignment those that celebrate me, and releasing those that don't, because we're not all supposed to be on the same train. There's so many purposes in life that need to be fulfilled. And those that don't celebrate you aren't bad. They're just not supposed to be in your tribe. There were 12 tribes, and it didn't mean one tribe was better than the other. They were just different and they had different purposes. So I have a couple of things, 5 points. 5 is the number of grace. So number 1 is vulnerability. One of the things that I think of, as a little girl, my mom grew up really pretty tough. She had a really rough childhood. And so her perspective on life was, you better not let anybody see you cry. You don't need a man. You don't need anybody. You just get after it. You just be tough. Put on your big girl pants. You're tougher than the boys. And so I heard that so much as a kid, which really has given me the drive and the mental tenacity to continue to go through when life pushes against you, of which it will, because none of us get out of here without scars. But my scars are my beauty marks. They're not indicative of my pain. they are showing the grace and the mercy that of who I've become throughout the process of living. And the word, when I think of vulnerability, I think of courage. And courage actually comes from the Latin word cor, and cor means heart. So when it first got translated into the English dictionary, the first definition of courage, not who we have, the Western mindset, who we have become. This is from an Eastern mindset mentality. Courage is, courage, core means heart. So the heart to tell the story of who you are wholeheartedly, meaning being vulnerable, of being able to tell your story. So I have a quick 2-minute story. I was born in Washington, D.C. I was raised in PG County, Maryland, which in 1971, most people are afraid to tell their age. I'm so proud that I'm still here, that the Lord has let me live. In 1971, it was the murder capital of the United States. And I used to be embarrassed as a child to say I was from PG County, Oxon Hill, because it was rough. You know, I didn't know it as a child. As a child, we just experience because we're completely open to what life has to offer, and we're learners, right? But then 7, 8, 9 years old, you come into awareness, there's differences. And I remember asking my mom, hey, Mom, how do we live in that neighborhood? How do we eat at that restaurant? And my mom saying, babe, listen, don't do what Mom did. You go get a college degree. Mom never got a college degree. You go make something of yourself. In fact, get 2, because if you get 2, you'll have a good job. You'll have a good life. You'll live in the right neighborhood. And, you know, what I've found over the years of trying to, there's nothing in the Bible that says we need a college degree to be successful. There's nothing in the Bible that says that we have to make a certain amount of money to be successful. There's nothing in the Bible that says that we're supposed to live in a certain neighborhood to be acceptable. And so once we can be in alignment with who God, and we have the courage to be who God designed us to be, we start to move into our area of success. I tell people, stay in your lane, be who you were designed to be. For we weren't meant to be anyone else. That's called plagiarism, right? Plagiarism is not a good thing, right? Although I have practiced it for many years of my life, trying to be that in business, trying to be that in my personal life, trying to be that in front of other people to be accepted, because my own self-worth and my own self-value was not enough. Which brings me to the second thing, is be authentic. You know, I have written on my mirror, if you get in my car, my mirror faces me. So I know whether or not to answer a phone call if I'm in the car, because I don't want to be contagious in the wrong way, right? But on my mirror, it says, I am worthy. Where I brush my teeth, hopefully we at least all do it once a day, right? You're in the mirror, it says, I am worthy. I am enough. In and of exactly where I am today, because I'm a human becoming, I'm not a human being. A human being is stationary and stuck, whereas a human being is always evolving. And so when I look back in every stage of my life, I'm fanatical about self-improvement. I'm fanatical almost to the point where it drives my husband crazy, because I'm constant every morning, every night, throughout the day. When I have a certain emotion, I used to go to a CD. I think those are obsolete. We used to have cassette tapes, so I'm telling my age. But now I go to YouTube, because it's the millennial Gen Z thing, right? So I go to YouTube and I type in that emotion, how to get rid of. And there's certain people that pop up because of the people that I listen to that speak to my spirit will pop up and tell me how to, and I will stop as soon as I get in that emotion. Anything that draws me to the negative, I'll stop and say, I need to recalculate. It's just like your GPS. I know where my future self longs and desires to be. So if I'm getting off course in an emotional place, I know my emotions drive my actions. And my actions and my emotions will also drive my words. And of all the things I've ever said, the things I'm most proud of are the things I've never said. That's something my future self thanks me for, because relationships are everything. They're only everything. And if I took a piece of skin at every single one of us that are in here, just took a little piece of your skin off, I promise you it'll grow back, and we look underneath of a microscope. It doesn't matter if Sorel is from Haiti, Giovanni is from Colombia, Samantha is from Italy, I'm from Washington, D.C. Every one of us are the same at the cellular level. In fact, I happen to be a believer. So when Noah got on the boat, it was Noah, his wife, the 3 boys, and their wives. So that means all of us are cousins. We all came from those 8 people. Just happens to be my belief. Now, Sorel happens to be married to his cousin. Hopefully it's a distant cousin. Nevertheless, cousins, right? We call that in the South kissing cousins, right? So if we're all related, how is it that some people can't get along with others? It's okay as long as you love them for who they are, because they're being their authentic self in the state they're in. And the only reason we can't love them is because we can't be authentic and love ourselves with who we are, with all our faults, with all our gifts, with all our talents, with all our shortcomings. We're a human becoming. So the third thing is be willing to fail. Release perfectionism. You know, I used to say, listen, I'm a perfectionist. And all that's saying to the world is that I'm hiding behind an insecurity that I can be wrong. Because if I can't be wrong, I can't be willing to learn and grow. So when someone has, when they were critical, I would get offended and go, oh my gosh, can you believe they're so rude? Instead of saying, well, I wonder if there's some truth to that. I wonder if there's something that I could improve. And if there's not, then I release it. That's not discounting having a spirit of excellence. Having a spirit of excellence is what we should all have, but we can't be a perfectionist. And we're afraid of what people will think, you know, and I've been in that place, you know, with my mentor. And it's like, well, I just need to be like him. I just need to do this because I don't want to be looked down upon, or maybe I'm not coachable, or, you know, maybe I'm not a good mentee. And I lost myself for a period of time in trying to please the other person, but I was without joy for years, and no one suffered but me. Actually, they probably suffered too, because my authentic self didn't add my value to the team, because I wasn't being real and authentic, and I have value because I'm worthy. So I retract that. You know, I suffered, but then the whole team suffered. And then my individual brokerage suffered because I was teaching them to follow my lead and being something other than themselves. The fourth thing is brave the loneliness. For a period of time, it's going to feel as if you are lonely, you're in the wilderness. And then I realized in Hebrew, the word wilderness is midbar. M means from, Debar is speak. So it's a place from where God can speak to us. So sometimes we have to go into the wilderness to find out the genuine word for us in our life in order to attract the right people, to be yoked with the right people, to really develop our tribe, people that celebrate where we're going and they have the same energy that really brings the fire. The last is be who you want to be, and you will attract those who celebrate the authentic you. You attract who you are, not who you want. So you can do all the affirmations in the world, but if you aren't authentic, the energy level does not coincide. there will always be a misfiring. It's like trying to, the old radios, if we have any youngins on here, we might have some youngins, they used to have a little antenna and you would go until you get a station, and then you would move until you caught the signal and you would get a certain type of music or a certain talk show. You're trying to tune in with the people that have the same frequency as you, not in judgment of anything else, but those that are on the path with you that are committed to the same cause, so you can make a huge impact across the United States and the globe. So I have a couple of things I want to read. Let me check my time. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcomings, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms and great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory or defeat. Theodore Roosevelt. Who does your future self, your authentic self, at the end of your life, that you are true to yourself? For we can be true to no one else until we are truly loved and devoted by oneself. So with that, I want to open it up, Sorrel, and pass that back to you so we can, if there's questions or comments, if people want to say the one thing that they're thankful for, who they are today. So what's one thing you can do today that you know in the future that draws us, not the past that binds us, says thank you.
Okay.
Awesome, Janine. Well, let us open it up to all of you in the live virtual audience. What do you want to say? What does your future self want to say now?
Well, you know, I'm going to start the conversation. I wanted to thank Janine. I wanted to just acknowledge you and thank you, Janine, for the truly representing the authentic self as you were sharing, right? I really got this. It's like you were saying what it's common to me in my world to hear. But what I want to acknowledge was you were actually being it as well. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, I want to have that freedom. I just like, yeah, I want to attract the people that think like me, act like me, and are align a vision like that, and actually embrace my self-expression so that I'm not walking on eggshells. So I just wanted to thank you for actually also being what you were saying. Thank you so much. And the one thing I want to just say, last thing, is I love the brave the wilderness. That was awesome. That was really great. So, or anybody else who's on the call.
Sheila has her hand up, and then Mark, and then Samantha. Go on.
Hi, Janine. I loved your conversation this morning. And I love that you're a senior vice president for Primerica. In another lifetime, I did that work. It's great work. And the word I wanted to say for, you know, the work I'm now doing and coming out is watch out. Just really watch out. I'm coming. It's coming at you. So
Amen
really,
and
thank
amen.
you. Yeah, I yesterday after Daily Huddle, Sorrel and Giovanni, I really said, you know, this is a good structure for me to start my day. So I've been making it a point now to get myself up, get prepared, get in the huddle, I'm going to say this and let it go. There's this old cheer we used to do. The team is in the huddle, the coaches at the head. They all got together, and this is what they said: "Let's go,
All
let's
right.
go. We can beat that lousy team." So I'm out here beating life, taking on life every day. So thank you.
Can we start the Daily Huddle with that? Is that patented?
No, I'll send it to you. We're gonna talk anyway today, right? It's a high school cheer.
I love it.
Good deal. Samantha.
All right. Well, good morning. Thank you, Janine. Thank you, Sorrel, for coordinating this and truly inspiring us. I have the pleasure of listening to Janine every day of my life. And it planting that seed, oh my gosh. And she lives it. She does it every day. I was guilty of doing exactly what she was saying. I had to be, know more, do better before I put myself out there. And I want to thank Samantha for braving the wilderness and the loneliness and deciding to lead with her heart and not worry how somebody is more extrovert, somebody likes to, talks better, does better, knows more than me, because there's no other Samantha out there. I am the only Samantha Dutto in the world. And and I'm great at it. So I want to thank Samantha for being brave and deciding to lead with her heart and not be afraid of who she is.
Thank you, Samantha. Mark.
Good morning, Janine. I
Yes,
just
sir.
met you this morning and I feel like I've known you forever. There are just a few words I wrote down that describe you in the few minutes that I've known you. You got great energy, great memory. I was waiting for you to name where everybody was from. I'm still waiting on that one. Very genuine, very genuine. There's very few people that I meet in life that are just genuine, and you are very genuine. Inspirational. These days I'm looking for inspiration from a whole lot of places and from good people, and you are definitely at the top of that list. You're a role model. And, I just want to say thank you for giving me some energy this morning. You really uplifted me with your story and your energy and your focus. You keep doing what you're doing, and I look forward to having more conversations with you.
Thank you. And tough girls do cry. Jesus wept too.
We have time for one more.
I wanted to know her upline, who your national sales director is.
Roy Matlock.
Okay,
Andy Young has been mentoring me though for 10 years.
got it. Okay.
And Art Williams. It's been
Yes.
amazing. Once a week,
Okay.
I've talked to him for the last 4 years.
Awesome.
He's amazing, an amazing
he
human
is.
being.
Yes, he is.
I'll say something.
Good
I just
morning.
thank you. Good morning. I would just say thank you. I really enjoyed listening to you speak today. And I would say my word is creativity.
Amen.
Get a way to be creative in problem solving. I'm an artist, so being creative is a part of my life always. But I look at life as how to be creative around problem solving, how to be with different people, how to empower the people around me, and to continue to strive for the goals of my life.
Amen. There is no creativity without vulnerability, and that comes from a place of love. It's amazing. Great
Yeah.
work.
Well, it's 31 after, and I think it's fitting to end today's huddle. I want to share a picture with you. And that picture moves to no end. Janine says in her bio that she's been in business with her husband, Mike, for 20 years. And when I searched and scoured the web for a picture of Janine by herself, not only was she with her team members every time, for about 90% of these pictures, she was with this man. And there's nothing else I need to say about that picture, Janine.
My rock.
I know. And you could not be here without him. And I know he is where he is because you are here. So we thank Mike. I thank Mike, and I thank you for bringing us love, bringing us your hearts, and making Daily Huddle really special today.
Thank you.
Rock on, girl.
So much love to you and Susan. Love you both.
All right, Gio, take it home.
All right, very well. Thank you, Sorrel and Janine. You just brought love to today's rest of the day, the context of today's love. Thank you, Janine. You're just a rock star. Everybody else, thank you for joining the Daily Huddle today. Thank you for opening up your calendar this morning. Have a phenomenal day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later, Janine.